Got a couple of bags here that, as you might have guessed, are for our computer. The story behind these is kind of interesting. They were just kind of left for dead, including the bags. So I decided, well, you know what? I might as well bring them home, at least make a video about them. So I don't know that I can get this out of here with just one hand. But I have the keyboard. Just some stupid generic thing. Who cares? I have all the cables, including the mouse. There's a Gateway mouse. Here's the monitor. Probably decent. A McCafe sticker on it. From 2013. So that probably shows you just how long it's been. Probably a decent little monitor, but I'm not a fan of these kinds of monitors, and the reason why is because they require an outboard power supply. I've never really been a fan of that design. Here's the model number. 22-inch monitor, going by that model number, which would have been pretty good for the time. Actually, it would have been very good for the time. Not HDMI compatible, but again, we're talking like probably 2012, 2013 era. And then the computer itself, which I'm dragging a power supply along with apparently. It's another one of these Gateway machines. It says out of the box. I meant the bag. Oh well, it's like 3 in the morning. So, here's the optical drive. Looks like dual layer capable. Pretty nice drive. It's got one of these things in it. Of course, I think this one's empty. Yeah, that one's empty. I would have been a little shocked if it had something in it, but those were a common thing with Acer and Gateway machines, probably because they were the same parent company. Core i7 with GeForce graphics. Yuck. And yes, that's what I said, and yes, that's what I meant. I pulled one of these cases off the curb once. It was just the case. I still have it. It's got that M2N, what is that? That M2N BP or whatever it is, motherboard in it. I'm kind of surprised that I remember that. I think it's like a 5,000 plus. A piece of crap for all intents and purposes, but you know, it was a decent machine at one point. This actually has a light around the outside of the case. That's what this switch is for. And it's also got this, which I think is like a cord carrier for something. I don't know what you'd use it for. 2 USB ports. Those are USB 2.0. 2 more ports there. Those are also 2.0. And a built-in card reader. Certified for Windows 7 Home Premium, which is probably what it's going to get. There's a power supply. I wonder if that's good quality. Hopefully not a Bestech. You see PS2 keyboard and mouse, that's nice. It would have had onboard HDMI and VGA, but of course they're disabled because it has a video card in it. 6 more USB ports, all 2.0. This is too old for USB 3.0, apparently. Even though I thought that was around for quite a bit longer, but maybe not. There's an Ethernet. Maybe this machine is older than I think it is, but audio, there's your video, and then this thing is some kind of wireless card, I think. It says antenna on it, so yeah, it's probably a wireless card. Gateway DX4850. There's a Windows 7 Home Premium, i7 2600. That was a pretty popular CPU. The GeForce GT420. Wow, I remember when that was top of the line. And I wanted a 1/2 terabyte hard drive. I remember when that was a lot of storage. Yeah, not so much no more. Super Multi, we saw that. Multi-in-one card reader. Easy swap expansion bay, that's this that we're talking about. In fact, it actually has an eject lever on the side. Would have made my life a little bit easier, but oh well. And easy cable management. That's this thing up here. I don't know what it really would be used for. Like, what kind of cable is going to be small enough that you'd actually be able to wrap it around that? I don't know. Plug into Microsoft Azure Boot Camps. I think that's a separate sticker. I think that's something else that was added after the fact. Let me see. How do you pop the cover on this piece of garbage? Does it have any screws? Or are we missing all the screws? Yeah, we're missing all the screws. Oh, this looks high quality. And dirty. Codagen. I think it's actually pronounced Codagen, but whatever. Yeah, that's a piece of crap. I might pull that out of there. 550 watts. Huh. Yeah, right. Maybe it's original, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. Motherboard's got solid capacitors on it. That's actually pretty nice. And holy RAM, Batman. What kind of RAM is that? I might have to look into that. Because if that's decent stuff, although it's only DDR3, so maybe not so much in this day and age. That's a weird setup. Looks like the original hard drive is still here, and they just tacked a random SSD on top. That's interesting. And of course, there's your video card and all the other stuff. Again, high-end stuff. Not anymore. Plug for something. That's for the expansion bay here. I have a couple of these. They'd actually be kind of useful in like a server environment, but I don't know about you, I don't feel like pulling that out. It seems like a lot of work. So, but anyway, what I will pull out is this really nice Western Digital. I thought this was a Samsung, but no, this is a Western Digital Blues. This is relatively new. Yeah, that's got no business being in here, so I'll pull that out. This is another one of these systems that looks like it uses a bunch of Molex connectors. For the SATA. I mean, like, this is weird. I don't know why they would do this. Or maybe that's not what this is for. I really don't know what's going on in here. There are some perfectly good SATA connectors. It just looks like they haven't used any of them. The other thing about this, look at this fan setup on the back of this. I mean, whose brilliant idea was that? Like, I mean, some of these cheapo manufacturers for these things just blows the mind. The kind of things that they think are acceptable. Really, it does. This probably is part of the power supply, though. So we'll go ahead and we'll route that, plug that in. I imagine that this is the original hard drive. It could be bad. Maybe that's why the SSD was installed. Just realized I didn't show any of that. At least I presume that's the original hard drive. I can't tell. I don't think... Well, it's a Western Digital green, so it probably is. It's making a lot of noise. This thing. I wonder if it ran out of water or something. Actually, it can't have. Well, anyway. I'm going to put the cover back on. That's what plug it in, power it up, see what goes bang. I should probably have cleaned it out with the air compressor before doing that, but guess what? I don't care. Okay, cabled up. This is the DVI connection because there is no VGA on that video card. And why use an adapter when you have DVI? So let's see what happens. I get to check out the power usage too. Well, it's on. 100 watts. 130 watts, almost. I have no picture whatsoever. Well, that's high quality. Is it not seeing the video card? Yep, I guess it must not be seeing the video card. Wonderful. That's mark of a quality computer right there. Okay, got the video card to work, so that's nice of it. Definitely an Acer system. CPU, 12 gigs of RAM. That's not what it's shipped with. I think it's shipped with 4. Does it say? Oh no, it's shipped with 8. So that's odd. I wonder if that fancy RAM that someone put in there is only 4 gigs. That's kind of pathetic. DX4850 with uber long serial number. The battery is good to within like half an hour. Yep, that's definitely the original hard drive and the optical drive there. AES-NI, this would actually support that? Wow. Of course, all the usual stuff. Smart fan. Well, the voltages look okay. So, I don't know, that cheap junky power supply might be fine. We'll go ahead and we'll save and exit. We'll see what this boots into, if anything. Depending on what it does, I might have to reboot it. Okay, what the... Okay, we finally seem to be working reliably with the DVI, but we do have a problem. Apparently, this must be, like, bent or something. I have no idea, but it's in the wrong place, because when I put the screw in for this video card, it pulls it out of the slot, you know, despite having a lock, which doesn't apparently work. And of course, now this won't sit in place. I don't know, some duct tape might fix that. So, theoretically, now, we should be able to allow this thing to boot. And see what happens. Gateway. Starting Windows. Yay! I'm not plugging this into my network because I don't want a virus or anything like that. There's your light, by the way. It's not like color changing or anything like that. In fact, I think most of it doesn't even work. So, yeah, that's high quality. You would have thought they would have put LEDs like all the way around it, but I guess they didn't. Cheap piece of junk. Alright, well I have no idea who that is. See, I have no idea who any of those people are. So this could be interesting. Do they all have passwords? Yeah, they all have passwords, and I don't suppose it's too much to ask for that any of them are blank. Well, it's just locked up, so that's... Is there a key click beeper on that, or am I... Oh, I'm just hammering something there. Yeah, I just completely lost the plot, so... Well, it's just auto-logging in, apparently. I know this thing had Windows 10 on it when I powered it up at my desk, so I'm glad someone put an SSD in this before subjecting themselves to Windows 10, because... oh boy. I'm just sitting here, I'm waiting for the hard drive to do its thing. Or maybe it just completely broke now. Maybe that's why someone changed the drive and all the stuff. Alright, it's the next day. So now not like 4 in the morning. And we're going to work on this thing again. I never did get the OS to load. So what we're going to do with it is just reload it. Hopefully. I mean, that's the plan anyway, is to just reload it. Windows 7, of course. There were only 2 partitions on that drive, so my assumption is that the recovery partition is gone. Which kind of sucks, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this is definitely Windows 7. I don't know why it used the Windows Vista boot thing, but okay. I'm hoping this isn't going to be driver hell. It looks like it's going to be driver hell. Okay, so this is dumb. Even though those are USB 2.0 ports, apparently there's no USB 2.0 driver for the Intel USB 2.0 controller that this thing has. Whatever. I don't have time for this crap, so forget that. We're going to install Linux. And it'll just be a Linux machine. And I won't feel too bad about it. I mean, I got 1,000 Windows machines around anyway. I've also got 1,000 Linux machines around, so I don't really need this to be Linux. I'm not doing the EFI junk, because I don't care. Linux Mint Debian Edition, so less likely, while this thing is sitting around, to become woefully obsolete. Well, I mean, it will, but it will be easier to recover from that, since I won't have to reload the OS the next time I want to do anything with it. Well, I still haven't factored in whether or not I'm going to keep the machine, because I may not do that. It's not really anything special or valuable. Of course, it is possible that these are all USB 3.0, but I really kind of doubt that. Apparently this board does have USB 3.0, but of course nothing on here is labeled, so, you know, that's quality. I guess I better plug the Ethernet in. Alright, good. Run the installer. It's a little bit more primitive of an install utility than what comes with regular Linux Mint, and I really don't understand why it defaults to a stupid keyboard layout like that. Like, I just answered that question. Oh, I'm going back. What a piece of crap. Alright, let me put all that in. That's kind of interesting. It's a 1.5 terabyte drive, but Linux claims that it's 1 terabyte. Let's just use LVM for the sake of making something different. I hate LVM with a burning passion because I think it's crap. But it doesn't matter. Yes, install bootloader there. Install. And hopefully this process won't take 2 billion years. And then I can wrap this thing up and punt this machine down the road. Alright, complete. We will reboot the computer. Fully install media. And press enter to continue. Press enter to continue. I hate this about Linux. Yes, you can't read it because I unplugged it because you told me to unplug it. That's dumb. Alright, we're gonna just power cycle it. Do it that way. Be a lot faster than waiting for this stupid thing to get its head out of its rear end. Figure out that it needs to reboot. So. Now watch, that will have rendered something unbootable. That's good. Remains to be seen whether this GPU is going to work under Linux, because oftentimes the NVIDIA ones don't. If not, I do have some newer cards I can use, like this. This is a GT 1030, as an example. And that'd probably work a little bit better. Than a GTX 460. This is not a GT 420. Maybe you can read that in that dirt. Now, if it would focus, as a 460. I thought it looked a little big for a 420. Turns out I was right. I don't know why they chose to put the hard drive LED underneath the lip like that. It would have been nicer if it were like somewhere else, like by the power LED, where they usually go. Hey, a mouse cursor. That's promising. It is actually working. Wow. I don't need to set up any of that junk, so I won't. What I will do is run the updates, because there's probably a few thousand of those. Alright, so at this point, we are pretty much good to go. I've installed all the updates, installed all the stuff. I believe that everything is in good order. Let's see if I remember where that is on these. See there, everything there is to see, and it does even work with the GPU, so that's wonderful. I don't have to put any effort into that. I don't have to put any more effort into the machine, because it's basically done. So now, it will be a shelf queen for the remainder of its life. Or maybe, I might sell it, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But for now, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.